I'm Beth Perrell with Ally Greco. She's Director of Communications and Outreach for the Save the Manatee Club. We wanted to touch base, Ally, because in addition to celebrating Labor Day, people can also celebrate International Manatee Day. And you're here to tell us all about that. So thank you. I know lately manatees have been really under a lot of pressure, diminished food resources, and we've spoken to your director at the Save the Manatee Club frequently to try to get an update with that. Do you want to give us a quick status update as well as you can?
Yeah, sure. So, for anyone who hasn't heard or seen the news about the record-breaking manatee mortality numbers this year, 2021 has not been a good year for manatees. So, in addition to the threats that manatees always face in their natural environment, from boat accidents, watercraft collisions, to the cold temperatures or toxic red tide algae, this year we've also seen a lot of manatees lose their lives due to no food resources, particularly along the east coast of Florida. So this year, the Indian River Lagoon on our east coast, there's been a lot of harmful algal blooms that have shaded out light from reaching seagrasses, the light that the seagrasses and vegetation needs to photosynthesize. So those seagrasses aren't doing so well. And in turn, the manatees were not doing well either this winter. During the winter time, they need to be near warm water areas. And if there was no seagrass near that warm water area, they'd have nothing to eat. So we saw a lot of manatees become malnourished, and then they're susceptible to other threats as well. So it's just been rather unfortunate that we're seeing that particular happening along with all the other threats that manatees are always facing.
A lot of people will be out on the water with it being Labor Day and, just those extra couple of days off of work. It's also therefore a good time to think about the manatee and their safety. And again, as I said, it's International Manatee Day. What is the message for us?
So we just want people to be safe out on the water this Labor Day weekend. Like I said, we've had these problems this year with the loss of seagrass. That's not as much of a problem for manatees in the summer. The water is warm, they're able to move around freely and find vegetation where it's available, but they're still so susceptible to that ever-present threat of watercraft collisions, speeding boats in their habitat. And so, when people take to the water this weekend or even throughout the fall season, for a lot of places, Labor Day is sort of the end of summer. People don't want to go outside anymore. But here in Florida, maybe the weather will be getting better. There'll be more people going out throughout the winter. We just want to remind them to watch out for manatees. There's a lot of different tips and tricks that people can do when they're on the water boating to look for manatees. And we have some videos and resources about it on our website, savethemanatee.org. But we recommend that when people are going out with a crew of friends, to have someone be a designated manatee spotter. So that's somebody who knows what to look for when they're on the water. They can watch the surface of the water, distraction free, look for those manatee snouts, their tails, the circular pattern on the water that their tails leave, sort of what we call a manatee footprint, just keeping an eye out for them, especially in those manatee zones, those slow speed areas.
The other thing is when people do see a manatee that maybe does seem to be suffering, maybe emaciated, who do we contact when we see that?
So there are certain things that you can look for to tell if a manatee is in trouble. Right now, during the summertime, we're not worried about cold water temperatures. So I'll just focus on maybe injuries. So if you see a manatee that has kind of red or fresh looking wounds on them. So most manatees that you find out on the water, they have scars from previous boat collisions. And you'll see that those scars, if they're healed, are kind of whitish or gray. You could tell that they're healed, but if you see a scar that looks fresh, that's something to keep an eye on. If you do see anything like that, you would want to call our Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the FWC. That number is 1-888-404-FWCC, or you can dial star FWC on your cell phone, and that'll alert them. So if you see, again, those pink or fresh looking wounds, if you see a manatee that's unable to submerge itself fully in the water, so the back of the manatee might be floating at the surface of the water. It's kind of bobbing up and down like a cork. It's not going fully under. That's another sign that it could be having trouble with its buoyancy. There could be some internal injuries. So if you see a manatee kind of hanging around, floating like that, keep an eye on it and call FWC. Now, when you call them, they might ask you to take some photos and videos. That's a great thing to do, even if you're not sure, even before you call. Take a photo or video of what you see, and that could help the biologists and the team there determine, is this something we need to check out, or maybe it's just some normal behavior for manatees. They have a team that will review that. And then it's best that if there is a problem, that you could kind of stay near where the manatee is and keep an eye on it for someone to come out and check it out. So looking for those fresh wounds, that bobbing up and down, unable to submerge when they're out in the water. Or if a manatee is coming up to breathe more often than every 30 seconds. So manatees, when they're just kind of being active, they might come up every minute to 3, 4, or 5 minutes. If they're just moving along, if they're sleeping, they can hold their breath for 15, 20 minutes. But if there's a manatee breathing more often than every 30 seconds, and it looks like it's kind of in distress, there could be some more problems there. So that would be something you'd want to maybe take a video of so you can monitor what's going on with the manatee, and then call those officials and let them know that you see something wrong.
If something seems amiss, take those videos and pictures and contact the proper authorities to get some help.
Yep, FWC, that's star or pound FWC on your phone. Another thing I forgot to mention that helps you see those manatees along the surface of the water when you're out boating is wearing polarized sunglasses. It doesn't seem like a big deal or that it would make a big difference, but when the sunglasses have that polarized feature, it can really help cut the glare on the surface of the water and let you see beneath it, so you could see if a manatee is on the move.
Now, you mentioned people can take a look at those resources at savethemanatee.org. That's also where people can learn more about the organization and some ways that they can help out.
Absolutely. So Save the Manatee Club is a nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1981, founded by Jimmy Buffett and Bob Graham when he was governor of Florida at the time. And our goal is just to protect manatees and their aquatic habitat. So on our website, savethemanatee.org, you'll find all the latest news about what's going on with manatees this year. And you'll find plenty of videos and resources about what to look for on the water, what you can do to help. And even if you're not a boater and you just love manatees, we have plenty of ways that you can get involved, speak up and be a voice for manatees, and show that you care.
I did want to ask you one more thing, Ally, and that is the word international and International Manatee Day. Is this something that in locations around the world people think about?
You know, I've looked into it. I can't find the specific history for International Manatee Day. There's so many international and national days of celebration. I'll have to ask around and see if anyone knows how it got started, but we do recognize International Manatee Day on September 7th. It usually falls right around the Labor Day weekend. So it's just another reason for us to get out there and remind people to watch out for manatees. But Save the Manatee Club actually does do some work with international manatee conservation organizations. So there are manatees around the Caribbean. We help out in Belize, Puerto Rico, different areas where they are watching over the manatees there, rescuing and rehabilitating them. There's a species called the Amazonian manatee found in the Amazon River in South America. And there's also the West African manatee found in lakes and rivers along the coast of West Africa. And we've helped organizations over there educate their communities about these unique animals. So it's pretty interesting to think about all the different species of manatees all over the world. You can read a little bit more about that work too on our website. And just this Tuesday, September 7th, share the word with your friends, celebrate International Manatee Day, share a photo of a manatee or share some of our videos, and just, spread the word about these interesting animals.
My guest today, Ally Greco, Director of Communications and Outreach for the Save the Manatee Club. Again, online, savethemanatee.org. I'm Beth Perrell.